Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I just can't see you yet.
Just for some reason, always starts with video off on Zoom.
Yeah, I think it's typically the default unless like maybe you tweak settings to be otherwise, but yeah. Uh
I was multitasking and the window got buried. So anyway,
yeah, all
nice to
good.
meet
All good.
you. How are you
Yeah,
doing?
I'm doing pretty well. Yeah, having a busy good day. So all's good, no complaints. How about you?
Pretty good. Same here. Same here.
Good stuff.
Just excited to hear what you do. I think I understand, but it's a lot. So, um, did you have a chance to look at any of our website or anything like that,
Yeah,
or is there?
yeah.
How
I
can I
I have the
start?
site up. I appreciated the detail and stuff that you also included in the application, just around maybe some of the ideas and things that you have around getting some engaging content and stuff going for the business.
Yeah.
Um, you're kind of taking uh I don't want to even air quote it as like a standard approach, but running photos and some other like canned image ads and videos and stuff is fairly standard in local service business spaces. Like it's you know it's all good, but it's also exciting to get like a flow of some fresh content into the mix. So
Yes,
um
I get it. I get the power of video and you show that with your with your example ads, but it's super hard to create. So I've kind of bounced around the idea of using AI or which it just comes off terrible
yeah.
and flat and doesn't work as far as I'm concerned as a consumer. And and then we just really haven't done anything when it comes to analytics and understanding what works and what doesn't work. So that's what grabbed me about you guys, that you're not only the content creators, but also assisting with the analytics.
Yep.
That's a huge piece, obviously, knowing what works.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you gotta it's one thing to look at an engaging video and say this is going to be the winner, and then the data obviously can prove otherwise. So without that data we obviously can't make data driven decisions and getting you more content and stuff, so we've got to have a pulse on that for sure. But yeah, if you can give me just a quick like high level rundown of what you guys have going on, what you think would be valuable for me to know, specifically from a content side of things, generating, new business and things. And then I'm happy to share, our process and get a little bit more weeds on how we work and stuff. But it would be helpful to just hear it from you directly.
Yeah, awesome. I'm gonna try really hard not to talk too much because there's a lot and there's so much that we can do. So I think, if this is in your wheelhouse, and I can figure out a way to use the type of content that you generate. There's a lot of different things that we could work on. But basically what we do is we're an outpatient imaging center for pets. So if you've ever had an MRI or a CT scan, you may have had that in a hospital or you may have had that in an outpatient imaging center. The benefit of the outpatient is that you can get in and out really easily, very quickly, get your scan done, go back to your general practice doctor, and usually get some kind of a game plan going. In veterinary medicine, they don't do that kind of work anywhere except for specialty hospitals. So it's sort of like if you twisted your knee skiing and you needed to get an MRI, imagine checking into a hospital and waiting for 3 weeks to get your imaging. It just doesn't work. So that's why they created all these outpatient imaging centers. So we're the first in veterinary medicine doing that. We have two locations in Texas and one in Utah. And
Where are
because,
you right now? Are you in Texas?
yeah, I'm in Georgetown. I'm in
Nice.
just north of Austin. You're not in Texas, are you?
I will be tomorrow, actually. I have a wedding in Houston this
Okay.
weekend. But I'm
Just
in Tampa right now.
oh, Tampa. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I saw a big flat landscape out of the corner of your screen. I thought it kind of looks like Austin.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, no, there's water over there. So,
I see
well, not
water
that it
now.
couldn't be, uh like Travis, is that what it is? Yeah.
Yeah, 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 exactly. So basically what we do is MRI, CT, X-ray, ultrasound, right? All that imaging in a really convenient outpatient basis. And we're just much more available, much higher quality. We get answers. We figure out what's wrong with the pet, and then they can get treated versus doing a bunch of random diagnostics, maybe exploratory surgery, spending tons of money. It's actually cheaper to come to us and get a definitive answer. The problem that we have with marketing is that you if you see our ad, you're not going to go like, "Oh my God, I've been waiting for an MRI for my dog. Let me
Right.
click and sign up." So it's awareness marketing, which your stuff could still work for that. I just don't know quite how to approach it. We do have a couple of products, service products that may be a better fit. One of them, because we're a radiologist, board certified radiologist, we are the only ones in the state of Texas that can offer a novel treatment for feline hyperthyroidism, which if you know what human hyperthyroidism, cats get it and they lose a bunch of weight, they lose their appetite, they get very sick, and we can cure it with a 2-day treatment. They come and stay with us, we inject them, they're cured. Well,
Wow.
if we can find a way to reach cat owners with that content, we could probably have much more of a one-to-one, like, oh, I've been looking for a cure for my cat's hyperthyroidism. The problem we run into there that you guys might be able to help us around is that some of Meta's filters block anything medical that talks about an outcome. So if you say I can cure X disease, they just block that,
Yep.
which is frustrating because it really is a cure, and we're board certified radiologists, and you just so and it's also for animals. So I don't know if there's an exception there, but that's kind of a. Do you have any questions? That's just a really broad overview.
Yeah, no, I think this all makes good sense. Um, I think when it comes to the MRI side of things, it would be very common to think that Google's going to work the best.
Mhm.
Google ads, people are going to go there when their pet is limping or they know their dog or cat just jumped off a weird surface and could likely be injured.
Exactly.
And bada bing, bada boom, they found you guys.
That's how my strategy has worked for 10 years,
Yep.
and I'm realizing now that's not going to keep working.
Alternatively, we work with a lot of local service-based businesses. I can give you a couple examples. We work with a ton of roofers and window replacement companies,
Hmm.
all honestly in Texas. We have a couple different clients that are all around Texas. And people go to Google when they think they need a new roof or when they need a roof repair.
Yeah.
When people need new windows, again, they're going to go to Google when they have that desire and that need today to go get a quote for some new windows.
Yep.
A lot of these, and same with a chiropractor. When you have back pain and you go to Google.
Yep.
So what's cool and what we've been doing like the past, I'd say 2-ish years with a lot of these local service-based businesses that have historically always relied on Google is there are ways to audit your offer. And if we look at the roofer and or the window company and we think about some of the byproduct things that may or may not make you a decent candidate for considering a repair or a full-blown replacement, you start to think about your energy bill being high. Or you think about maybe wanting to list your home on the market soon and wanting to increase curb appeal.
Yeah.
And all these kind of little subtle psychological plays that you
Mhm.
can make with someone that is literally doom scrolling on Facebook and Instagram to actually make them like a very, very qualified lead for
Yeah.
these local businesses.
Okay.
And what I'm going to be a little bit vulnerable here for a sec, but I have a cat, and whether you agree with this or not, I got her declawed 2 years ago.
Oh, we've had
I
a declawed cat. Yeah, no, 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 it's fine. Especially in Texas, it's a thing.
It's a thing. And I've had probably 10 cats growing up, and my parents have always declawed them.
Yeah.
We have nice furniture that we don't want to get scratched, whatever. We declaw the cats. It's inhumane, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, of all the 10 cats, this one cat that I have always holds up her paw now. and I see it every day, and I think it's a habit, but deep down, I'm always wondering, like, is she in pain? Is there a
Yep.
problem? This would be the, like, if I got hit with one of your ads that may or
Yeah.
may not say, hey, subconsciously, do you think your pet may or may
Mhm.
not be in pain? Well, you don't need to go through all the hoops and hurdles of going to your vet and being on a 3 week wait list and la la la
Yep.
la 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 la. In a way, I kind of view it as like a bit of a concierge-like service that you guys are offering,
Exactly. It's
where
like executive screening for pets, basically.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think that there would be a lot of different ways that we could take this offer exactly. We could talk about the treatment for the feline
Hyperthyroidism.
hypothyroidism.
Hyper. Yeah.
Hyper.
Yep.
We can talk about that too because I think Facebook ads could definitely work for something like that as
By the
well.
way, that's a separate business. So
Oh, it is.
we would just have a different account for that with you. But that's like a whole other conversation. Yeah.
I gotcha. So anyways, back to the first thing here. I think we could be pleasantly surprised at all the levels of awareness, the solution orientedness, if that's a word, of your ideal client in what they
Yep.
may or may not know is available to them. There's
Yep.
probably a lot of pet owners out there, and maybe you guys have come to realize this too, that genuinely just they're busy individuals that aren't like, they're not selfish, but like their pets don't come first and things feel inconvenient to make sure that their pet is okay. I think that
Yeah.
there could be this level of like, we make this way easier than any vet visit you've ever had. And
Yep.
wouldn't you like that peace of mind before you go off and get crazy $8,000 surgery that you were just quoted for and blah, 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 and
Yep.
kind of take it from there?
I
So,
love the way your brain is
yeah, my
working
brain's
around
definitely
us.
thinking right now.
Yeah, it's like throwing off different ideas. One of which is sometimes sometimes people are now we don't want to get in the middle of like an urgent situation, right? If the
Of
pet's,
course.
like needs to go to the hospital, I don't want to get in the way. But if they've got like a nagging shoulder injury and that somebody wants to do surgery, it may be worth doing some really good diagnostics beforehand so you have a clear picture. And the thing that's always stopped me from pulling the trigger on this kind of an ad strategy has been the fear. It may be totally unfounded fear, the fear that I'll call it the billboard effect. It's the reason I don't put our business on billboards because it's totally not target. I mean, it's targeted, but there's so many people, right? I'm targeting people on the freeway. Like it's a huge audience that you have to pay for versus micro targeting.
Yeah.
And so you can much more carefully micro target on social, but you start to have a lot of overlap with people who should just be going to their veterinarian.
Sure.
Like if you're Googling my cat keeps lifting its paw, well, there's a huge search volume on that because lots of cats have, paw issues.
Mhm.
Most of them just need to go see their GP vet and get reassured that, the cat stepped on something and it'll probably be fine in 2 weeks. Or if we try to serve them an ad, then we're serving that to a pretty large population and that gets costly. Or do you have any
Right.
thoughts around how to like fine tune that?
Yeah, so much of it is going to be in the what you say. We are going to be able to choose very intentional terminology and phrases and things like that that can qualify the pet owner that you do and don't want to attract.
Uh,
And also too, like Facebook has 50,000 data points on individual people on the platform. It
hmm
knows a lot about everyone that's on the platform.
hmm
And, if there are those people that may or may not be a good fit for something like this, with time and really with the right creatives and the copy below the creatives, we can gear it towards the right audiences to the best of our ability. And then also, ideally, the algorithm and like the pixel without getting like too nerdy in this conversation here, it does get stronger with time where
Okay.
it will start to attract I'll need to get that information from you in terms of okay, well, I don't want to bring in just anybody whose cat stepped on a glass shard and is going to be fine in 2
Yeah.
weeks. But
Yeah.
also,
Well. I mean, we could start off just trying to attract people with very specific queries like, back pain
Right.
or like head, mysterious head tilt or like
Hmm.
seizures. These are things that you can get an MRI for. So there's lots of low-hanging fruit. We could
Great.
certainly, target it pretty
Yep.
well.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, those are some things I would have never even thought of. So yeah, I
I
mean,
have
we
a
can
whole
go.
list.
Um,
I've got a whole list of things
Yeah,
that
we can go like to the outcomes that like as a pet owner you would see animal suffering from, and then the solution here, whether you realize it or not, you've probably jumped on Google and ChatGPT to try to diagnose your pet yourself. Hey,
yeah.
get the right peace of mind like this week, and like let's be, you know, that person and so on and so forth.
Yeah, and we're already kind of in this framework because we've built out a pretty robust blog with where we've gone and said like what are the conditions that would end up leading people to an ultrasound or an MRI or a CT or the I-131 hyperthyroidism therapy. And then we
Hmm.
wrote blog articles for all those things, not just one, but multiple. So we've got, a couple hundred blog articles. So we're used to thinking about things from that funnel perspective is like what are they searching for and how can we give it to them? A lot of that work has been done, but we just have never played in video at all. And
Yeah,
about a year and a half ago, we stopped advertising at all on Meta just because we didn't really feel like we had a good grasp on how to do it.
sure.
PPC is pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
LinkedIn's pretty straightforward. Meta has gotten like I was advertising with Meta when they first rolled their ads out in like what 2011 or 12 or something like
Hmm.
that. And the page was like it was like one page. Put your credit card
Yeah.
in and tell me which post you want to boost.
Yeah, yeah.
And now when I look at it, I'm just like,
Yeah.
it's
It's
wild.
it the good news is from like a technicality standpoint, I don't really feel like if anything, I actually feel like the technicalities have gotten a lot easier over the past like 2 to 3 years, and they're leaning way, way more heavily on creatives. And if you keep your targeting extremely broad and all you did was upload a zip code list of the service areas that you guys can
Mhm.
provide for,
Yeah.
let the creatives do the rest. Whether
Okay.
it's a company for window replacement or it's a roofing company or it's for this vet services, it knows like who's the pet owner and who has the problems and what
Wow.
people search history. Like it's weird. It's
It's actually so their AI is watching the video and it's saying like, I've seen this
yeah,
video and you should see this video because
exactly.
that's amazing.
Yeah. And that's why quite frankly, like why videos are performing
Mhm.
a lot better than just a static image ad. Because while the image ad has the copy and the photo and the stuff that you want it to include, the video has that much more really like meat to it.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I've known for about 5 years that I wanted to get more into Instagram. And I don't know if do you work on TikTok at all?
A little bit. Most of our clients are pretty focused just on Facebook and Instagram
Okay.
and a little bit of YouTube.
But I could theoretically reuse your creatives on the TikTok platform, right?
They can be for sure. There's definitely some slight nuances to it, but
Okay.
yeah, short answer is
You're
yes,
more
they can.
focused on the meta algorithm. That's
Mhm.
okay because that's a huge
You could
audience.
post you could post our content organically on TikTok.
Okay.
But TikTok ads is definitely a bit of a different
A
beast.
whole different beast. Okay. No problem. I didn't know that. But yeah, I'm way more familiar with Instagram and the whole meta ecosystem. So
Yeah.
that's definitely the place to put the focus anyway.
Yeah, cool.
Cool. So what else do you want to know?
Um, I mean, this all makes good sense. I guess if we can talk about the cat services maybe at another time. Maybe it sounds to me like the focus may more so be on you know, the MRI side first. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I think and how would you look at this for a business that has multiple products? Like, let's say our outpatient imaging center, technically the MRI is a separate thing from the CT, and or is it? What we because
Yeah,
oftentimes we talk about we're going to get an answer, and the way we get the answer is by selecting one of these tools.
Exactly. So we need to these tools are the mechanisms, right? And I think sometimes when we know our business and we know our industry so well, it's easy to get overly technical in good direct response copy and in
Yes.
turn this video. We need to hit emotions with these ads. We need to
Mm.
talk to people that care about their fur babies, and they don't care whether it is an MRI or a CT. People do know the differences. Some may know the
Yeah.
differences between the two, but those are quite frankly a little bit irrelevant when it comes to what we're going to be doing here.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So, what I would get from you will be a lot of technical information in essentially a one pager, but I also will need you to go just a little bit more broad in um, these are common symptoms like a
Mhm.
seizure, like a weird head tilt, or holding
Yep.
up a paw or a limp. And then this is what solves for it. This is normally like how long it lasts before pet parent decides it's become too much of a problem and all
Yep.
that type of information. And then really from there, just from like a process standpoint on our end, we would review everything there to then make it very cold friendly to your ideal audience by writing that script, handling the strategy around it. Um, and then, yeah, I mean, you would approve all scripts before we go off and film any of the content. And then we have 25 different people on our team that regularly shoot content for all of our clients.
Yep.
So, I'm sure you guys work with a lot of different walks of life. Um, we have a lot of different, personalities and things on the team, a lot of different age groups and stuff like that. So if we want,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I think you really I'd be interested in your thoughts about how to strike the right balance on that because the pet ownership is not confined to one group. I mean, it's all the way up and down the socioeconomic ladder and
right.
multicultural. And I think what grabbed me is your ad, or at least the one you served to me, was get women in your
Mhm.
creative. And veterinary medicine is about 75% staffed by women. The vets and the vet techs are predominantly women in the veterinary industry.
Yep.
And so, and also that is the demographic of who I've seen respond to our ads has been like largely women by almost the same proportion.
Yep.
So it's really interesting. I mean, obviously, lots of men have pets, but it's
Have
it's the women on Facebook who are liking the posts and who are engaging with the posts.
That doesn't surprise me. Yeah. But yeah, I mean that's great data. I would probably want to test out a couple, different age ranges as well. If we go for like the 45 to 55-year-old woman, but also go for, the mom, who's a little bit younger or whatever the case may be, could be
Yeah.
worthwhile in testing some males too. We have guys on the team as well that do
Okay.
fantastically on ads. And yeah, I mean, really from there, um, we'll have to just lean on the data, right? Hey,
Yeah.
when we're working with this older female, she's bringing in a super qualified individual. They have the money, they have the urgency. They've been perfect clients for us. Okay, great. When we are taking a little bit more of a higher credibility standpoint and we happen to make some ads with a microphone in the shot,
Mm.
that is sending a signal to our viewer that like we are industry experts. And we don't need to necessarily claim, like no one on our team would be like, I'm a vet, but like we could come across in saying like we work at the company or like we're an assistant in some way, shape, or form that you feel comfortable with as well. And we might find that those ads do fantastically. And then, really from there, we take all of that data to drive us into getting you more and more video content from there.
Love it. Okay. That's cool. So what's the business side of all this? What's the typical engagement and timeline and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so typical engagement looks like us getting you guys a total of at least 3 rounds of videos. We offer as many as 40 videos in a package We have a 20 pack that gets delivered, a 10 pack, and so on and so forth. Those are normally delivered on a monthly cadence, but depending on some businesses, they test ads way more frequently and get them delivered from us every 2 weeks. But to keep things fairly clean here, normally it's delivered every month. So you're
Okay.
looking at, let's use the 10 ad pack as an example. You'd be looking at 10 ads getting delivered month one, month two, month three, a total of 30 ads. The first 10 would be ready from us in 7 business days.
Okay.
So, really, from that initial one pager that I mentioned that I would have you fill out that gives us like a very technical dump, but also
Hmm.
gives us just rundown of, the client and everything else. We would dive into strategy mode, the scripting, have you approve the scripts um, before we, sorry, um, before we dive into the shooting and the editing. You are going to get a final edited ad from our team, and then you do get access to all the raw content that we shoot as well. And
Okay.
yeah, that's kind of what it looks like from a processing standpoint. Does that
Cool.
all make sense?
Yep, that all makes sense.
Cool.
Um, yep, and price wise, you mentioned in your onboarding video, it's content generation, but it's also the assistance with analytics, what's working, what's not working, evolving the strategy. So is there like an ongoing, maintenance component of it? Are we meeting to discuss, or how does that all work?
Yeah, so in most situations, we'll get viewing access to the ad account. So
Mhm.
whoever on your team's actually going to be responsible for placing the ads, we would go ahead and still have a pulse check of the data alongside you and maybe that individual. And then what we're doing going into the subsequent rounds of ads is really understanding that ad performance, looking at very specific metrics, but also getting some additional qualitative feedback from you and your team just around like how ads have been performing, how conversations are going, and so on and so forth, to
Okay.
leverage all of that data to drive us into that next batch of ads that we would get you going into like month two together.
Got a
Um,
feedback loop going. So
exactly.
you're looking at it and then you're producing the more content. Okay.
And that feedback loop is primarily done. We use Slack for communication. So
Got
we don't typically structure any like monthly meeting cadence per se. It's normally just an ongoing dialogue and visibility there in Slack.
That's refreshing. That's how we work. It's surprising that so much of the world still hasn't figured that out. I mean, I work
Yeah,
with
it's
creatives all the time that are like emailing me in threads on projects. And I'm like, can you please join Slack? And they're like, I don't know what that is.
yeah, it's painful. It's so funny. I tell some guys like, "Hey, we communicate in Slack," and they're like, "Oh no." And then other guys are like, "Heck yeah, let's
Yeah,
do this."
exactly. I know it's very polarizing. Yeah,
Yeah.
but cool.
But yeah, so comms and stuff will be done right there in Slack, and then yeah, that's what that looks like. And then I can share pricing and how that all looks. From a package and pricing standpoint, um, I would probably recommend for starters, it may make the most sense to start with our 10 video pack. That package is $4,800 each month.
Okay.
Our 20 pack is $7,800. We do also offer a smaller pack at 6 videos, which is 3,500 per month.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to think about the volume. So for the pricing doesn't sound crazy, so that's all good. The question is how to think about the volume for a business like ours that doesn't have a lot of competitors.
Mhm.
Like literally there's nobody doing what we're doing. I guess it would be like um I guess it would be like your roofers.
Yes.
If your client was the only roofer in town and there were just a bunch of general contractors that also did some roofing on the side,
Right.
it's like so that's like us with specialty hospitals. They do some imaging on the side, but we're dedicated. So there's just not a lot of chatter in this niche. Like you're gonna find if we can find that people are actually searching for these terms and we serve the ad to them, there's not going to be that many other people serving that type of ad.
Can
What
I
is
ask you
that?
from a meta side of things in terms of like a budget that you would anticipate putting behind some of these videos to get them distributed? Do you have any
I
quick gauge
don't know
on?
how much it would cost to get wide, like, 'cause I'm so out of the loop on what the per, the cost per click is. Do you have any guidance there of like, I mean, I guess we would just experiment and see what happens. If it cost me $10,000 in 1 month, I might adjust. But I really have no idea what that even.
Tell me what is average order value? I would imagine is in a couple $1,000s. What is it exactly?
Great question. So most of our business is ultrasounds. That's about 50% of our business.
Okay.
People come through our doors, their pet gets an ultrasound. A lot of common stuff like a cat swallows a sock or something like that, and they're blocked up. So you get an ultrasound, it's about 650 to $750, kind of depending on what you do. Sometimes people will come with the seizures and the head tilt and the back pain, and that MRI will cost $3,000.
Hmm.
Um, CT scans, we don't really get that many people coming to us. We usually they'll come for an ultrasound and we'll say we didn't find what we needed and we think we can see it on CT. So yeah, CT scan will be about $1,700 to $1,800.
Hmm.
So yeah, so I mean these imaging centers are doing two to $400,000 in business a month.
Hmm.
And we're spending $5,000 or $10,000 per location on Google PPC ads,
Right.
none of which I can tie directly to business, of
Right.
course. But yeah, I mean that's just like kind of the ballpark of where we're at. But again, we don't have like it's hard for me to directly tie somebody's $3,000 MRI purchase to an ad that I served them on Instagram. It's all
Yeah.
organic.
So I would anticipate a qualified lead in the space to cost you roughly 50 to $100. And the
Mhm.
reason I say that is because working in other local service-based businesses, in knowing ticket prices for a lot of different, things that are out there, you've got new patient specials at a chiropractor's office that are ran for 47 bucks online. And then you've got a $25,000 window replacement job that's done on a big home in Houston, Texas, and kind of auditing all those industries across the board and numbers and things that I see on a pretty daily basis, I would expect that qualified lead to be in that ballpark. Now, the caveat there, or the thing to think about next, would be, well, how many of those leads would we be able to help and would become a paying customer? Depending on the flow that we would take in terms of the call to action in the ad videos,
Mhm.
would either be to have your team call them immediately to qualify them further and get them set for an in-home consult.
Mhm.
Is that what you
No.
what flow
Let
would
me
you
see.
anticipate taking?
Yeah, so let me just share this really quickly. By the way, what kind of timeline are you on? I know you've got a lot of these calls.
I'm good for 20 more minutes.
20 more minutes. Okay. It won't take that long, but I just wanted to make sure you're not jumping on to the next call.
No, you're fine. I appreciate you
Let's
asking.
see here. I don't use Zoom that often, so I'm a little rusty. All right. Can you see this?
LinkedIn?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah. Now, so we're on our website.
yeah.
And the what I would probably do without unless you have guidance otherwise, is they would get based on their location.
Yep.
If it's possible, they would, for instance, get served a landing page, and we can improve that. We can make a landing page that's specific to the campaign.
Yep.
But the action we're trying to get is we're trying to get people here to say, oh, look, friendly people, yeah, they do MRI. This needs some work. This is basically with the website, we're trying to deliver the punch on the front page and then
Yeah.
they can make an appointment. So I don't go into the whole selling proposition on this page, but
Yeah.
basically then they fill out a
Fill
HubSpot.
out this form here. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if you can actually see this.
Yeah,
It
I
probably
can.
Okay, so yeah, you can they would fill out the HubSpot form. So I can create a new form and a new landing page for the
Great.
campaign. But when you fill this out, you get a message that says we'll call you within an hour. And then
Mhm.
our client service team reaches out and says, well, tell me what's going on with your pet. And okay, it sounds like you do need an MRI.
Right.
Can you come in tomorrow at 3? So it's very much like any doctor's office. Um, I'm open to different ways to do it. That's just the way we've done it.
Yeah, no, I think this would be a very solid flow, and um I would anticipate there to be probably like a 25% conversion on that lead cost to individuals that actually are qualified and um would set for an appointment or have a very qualified form fill. We would have to kind of see the variance there. And
Mhm.
then, from there, you might anticipate acquisition to be roughly $200 for the $600 service, or maybe
Mhm.
closer
Yeah.
to $500 to $1,000 for the $3,000 to $4,000 service, and so on and
But
so
that's
forth.
business we wouldn't have had otherwise, right? So
Right.
that's the benefit. You even though you spend a couple $100 to get the $600 sale,
Yep.
you would have had a hole in your schedule if you didn't have that. So
Exactly. Exactly. So,
um,
but just to kind of set expectations on the amount of lead flow and things that you would be looking to get, you can also start to back into a daily ad spend budget that you're going to want to put out in order to attract this type of volume.
okay. Yes, yes, yeah, I can see that. This is the stuff that I'm not talented at. It's like I just don't think these things through very clearly as far, and I see people like you who are able to just, I see this on Instagram all the time. People say, well, you can just back into these metrics and this is how much you need to spend to get this much,
Yeah.
it's fascinating to me, but and I have an MBA. I mean, like I studied finance, but I just don't, my brain doesn't think through funnels like this. This is a kind of a new thing. I'm 49, so maybe I'm just getting old.
No, no, all good. But
Um,
I just want to I from a volume perspective in terms of the amount of creatives that I think
yeah.
that I would recommend for starters here, given two main things. The first thing is the amount of variability in kind of like offers and focus that we would have in the content. I wouldn't just get you one ad for addressing back pain in a pet and
Mhm.
one ad addressing seizures in a pet. And
Okay.
you need to still give Facebook some volume to work with that
Okay.
hit those pains. Like when we work with a chiropractor who wants to treat a patient um, with knee pain and back pain and the answers for spinal decompression therapy, we're getting
Mhm.
them at least like 4 to 6 to 10 ads just focused on spinal decompression. So I would
Okay.
recommend looking at like a 10 pack or a 6 pack from us in
Got it.
segmenting it among a couple of the different things that will address from, the pet owner's level of pain and need.
Yeah, and that's a really good point. I should go data mine and see what the most common conditions are that are referred to us. And we may want to just focus this on the thing that we really need more business for is the MRI. So
Great.
maybe we should just make a whole bunch of videos about
Just
driving
focus on
MRI
MRI.
business.
Yeah.
Um, and I can go in and see what are the most common conditions that are
Mhm.
diagnosed when people come to us, and we can just go backwards and make content for those.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm good for 10 just to start and see if we can, get some data and figure out what the best strategy is.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm game for that. And obviously, we can kind of use this a little bit as a test, and if it makes sense to eventually help on the cat. I love the
Yeah.
hyperthyroid play of having them come for um you said it was like 2 days to cure them and stuff. That all sounds really cool. And
Also,
I think
it's a feel good thing, like
yeah,
they send us pictures 3 months later and the cat's like all fluffy and healthy and they come to us and they're like sad looking and their hair is all flat and
yeah.
It's a really good, it's one of those, I almost wanted to start with that because it's a much more emotional play.
Yeah.
It's people like literally love us. They're like, thank you for saving my cat. And
Yeah.
they get emotional like all the time. And it's one of the coolest things that we do. But really need more business for our MRI, and we probably need to focus on that first.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll show you the other one
Sweet.
after we get started.
Awesome. Well, if you're cool with it, for next steps on the 10, all we would do, we process payments just using Stripe. Um, I would send you Stripe link. I would get your best email for the Slack invite. And then once I have you here in Slack, I'll just get you that initial one pager to fill out, and we'll hit the ground running from there.
Easy. All
Cool.
right. Sounds good.
Um, do you want to take 2 minutes to get onboarded right now, or what's
Cool.
your vibe?
Yep, that
Sweet.
works.
What is what's a good email for the Slack? Is it just the James at Sage Veterinary?
Exactly.
Okay, cool. I'll get Slack going, and then if you're cool with it, I'll drop this is for the 10 pack Stripe link.
Hmm.
Um I'll drop that there in the Zoom chat.
Got it.
Is there anybody else on your team right now that you'd want me to get into Slack, or can I just send your email for right now?
There's not at the moment. We've got a pretty decent marketing team, but I'm the only one who has any interest or background in the meta stuff.
That's fine. I'll I'll give you the ability to add other people if there comes a point where you want somebody else in
That would be
here.
great. Yeah,
Okay,
I probably will add one other person. I just don't know how helpful she'll be.
that's fine.
We're heavy on creative people. We've got like really good writers and graphic designers in our team, but we just have nobody to help us. In fact, if you know of anybody that this is like shark infested waters when you try to find someone to help you with data and analytics related to like HubSpot and, calculating return on ad spend, and there's a lot of sharks in the water, and it's super hard as a business owner to find good people. Do you know
Yeah.
anybody that does that kind of work that can just kind of fractionally jump in and be like, here's how you should look at it?
The only person that I know on a fairly personal-ish level is his name is Aaron Platt. You've
Hmm.
probably seen his ads because he blasts his ads around really being a HubSpot expert and making everything like really, really nicely talk to each other, all in HubSpot. Um, but what
But
is I think
he's like way up here. He's like super master of all of its HubSpot.
Sales Momentum
Yeah,
is the
I've
name
got
of
him.
this.
I've
Yeah.
got him on LinkedIn.
Have you ever seen any of his ads, or does his face look familiar or no?
Yeah. Uh-huh. I've seen him. Maybe if I follow him, I can learn a thing or two. I just
Yeah, I mean, I know what they build out is very, very extensive. Like they go super, super in the weeds on everything. I have never personally worked with them. I've just been connected with him in the agency space
okay.
and have heard good things. But yeah, I don't have any, direct relation with them.
I'm asking everybody. I've come to understand that personal recommendations, at least right now, are worth a lot because
Yeah.
it's just so hard to find good folks. Yeah, what were you asking me before I went off on that tangent? You needed something from me. Oh,
Oh, I was just
you put a
asking.
link in chat.
Yeah, I put the Stripe link in the chat, and then I was just asking if there was anybody else on your team that you wanted to have invited into Slack.
Yeah, not for right now.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm just entering the payment.
That's fine. I'm getting your onboarding form going.
So you feel pretty confident you'd be able to create all this content within, you said 7 days? That seems amazing.
Yeah, we have a very tight dialed in system. As long as we get an intake form filled out by you really within 24 hours of onboarding. We say 24 to 48 hours. And then as long as skip scripts get approved by you in also a timely fashion, we have a couple kind of, points on the timeline that need to fall into place. As long as everything there is executed well, yeah, 7 business days is the turnaround.
Cool. Yeah, I'll get you right. I'll get right back to you on the onboarding stuff. And you seemed confident that that actually posting the meta ads would be pretty straightforward. I mean, I haven't bought ads in several years, but like, is that really, it's really that simple? Once you give me the creative, I just need to go into the business dashboard and do it.
What I'll do for you is we have a really it's like a one pager on I think we've titled the step by step like our dummy proof way of
Yeah, for
launching
all the
these ads.
roofers, right? All the roofers and the HVAC guys and me. Yeah.
And it is seriously step by step by step on exactly what to do and exactly how we'd recommend you go about doing it too. I'll have you. Oh no, it's not dummy proof. We call it our brutally simple ads course, I
Oh,
think is
that's
the,
that's that's
the naming
good.
convention.
That's
So yeah, we'll make sure it's super crystal clear on exactly what to do. And also on top of that, I totally recognize that this is going to be successful if you feel very confident in how things are placed and things like that. I have someone on the team that oversees all growth, and he runs the ads for VSL Queen, and then also does run the ads for about 10% of our current client base. We normally will start the relationship on all things just videos right out the gate. But if there did come a point where you ever really end up scaling up your ad budget and it could make sense to have us kind of take some ownership there, um, honestly, he would be main point of contact in that effort.
okay.
Reason I'm mentioning this is if it would ever make sense to have a quick call with him and just make sure that everything looks really good and that you feel really good. Um, we're not going to gatekeep anything, and we're happy to kind of take a quick pulse check on how things are
I'm
going
curious.
there.
I'm curious, what's your typical client? What is your typical client spending monthly on meta ads? Just on the like on the ad buy
Yeah,
side.
so um we have a client that spends $250,000 per day on their ads. That client is going to skew things ridiculously in comparison to the individual that spends 50 bucks a day on their ads.
Yeah.
I would say it's very standard that we attract businesses that spend between 200 to $1,000 a day on their Facebook ads. And you're looking at a six to $30,000 per month ad budget. Don't get
Yeah.
me wrong, we have very, very big players as well,
Yeah.
but they're going to really drastically skew the average there.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've got a lot of room in our schedule, so we'll have to see at what point we could fill the schedule, and and what at some point too much ad spend would be a bad thing because we'd be booked out 3 weeks. And
Yeah, yeah. Well, you start to, it's that push and pull of, oh, shoot, now we have fulfillment issues, and those are
yeah,
golden ticket problems, though. We'll kind of crawl, walk, run here, and yeah,
yeah.
take it from there.
Cool,
Um,
cool. All
I
right.
did see payment come through, so appreciate it. I'm really excited to work together. Before we jump, can you just confirm on your end that you see an invite to the Slack? It's going to come from Slack Connect.
Okay. It doesn't pop up in Slack, right? It'll be in my email, I guess.
Yeah, jump into your email. I just sent it over.
Got it. So let's see. There you are, invitation. Oh, no, that looks like a oh, the joys of AI inbox managers now. I've got all these
Oh,
hidden.
funny.
I use Fixer AI, which has been like really cool, but sometimes notifications get squirreled
Oh,
away
too
somewhere.
cool.
I am adding it now. Sage Veterinary VSLQ,
Yeah,
join, and then I'll
perfect.
just double check I have access to it. Yeah, I see it.
Oh my gosh, your profile picture is really funny.
Yeah, so that's a selfie I took with my two puppies in my lap, and they were like fighting each other, they're sisters. And then I put it in Chat GPT and said, "Make me a baby."
That's super funny. I like it. Cool. So, really from here, give me like 2 minutes. I'm going to get your intake form put together. If you can spend, some time on that today, that would be fantastic. And then once that is done on your end, just give us a nudge in Slack. I'll review the intake form just to make sure that I have everything needed in order to dive into the strategy and scripts. And
Okay.
then I will nudge you again. I would anticipate probably on Monday with your scripts ready to rock and roll and get an approval. Does that all sound good?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Sweet. Good stuff. Well,
Just one more thing. Do you
yeah.
think I will, based on what you've seen on my website, do you think we need to create a separate landing page and HubSpot form for these ads? Should I be planning for that?
Who on your team does that?
I
Is that
do
you?
on Squarespace. It'll probably take me half a day to get it done.
Um, I don't I might prefer to see nice landing page with big bold headline that really confirms like why they're there. Pet has these four symptoms, and
Yeah.
just to really feel some of that congruency from the ad. It's not, it wouldn't be 100% necessary, but if I could have my preference here, I would love to see a new landing page that's going to be very suited to the Facebook traffic.
So it would be a one landing page per like topic, right? So if we're doing videos for back pain or videos for seizures, a landing
Yes,
page.
or the alternative could be that, hey, is your pet suffering from back pain, seizures,
Like
or
that.
like you can put all of that in one headline, and
Yes,
all the person's going to do is gravitate towards that one word and say, oh, this is where I'm meant to be, this is for me, and this is based on the ad I just saw.
I love it. Okay. All right. I've got it. Thank you.
Sweet. Good stuff. Well, yeah, again, we'll be here in Slack along the way to kind of guide you if you want any additional pointers. My head of growth loves to also nerd out on all this type of stuff too. So, we're happy to help it as you need it.
Sounds very good. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, no problem. I'm excited to work together. I'll see you soon.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.